We acknowledge that we are streaming to you today from the lands of the Kaurna people. We respect their spiritual relationship with their country.
We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the traditional custodians of the Adelaide region, and we respect that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today.
We extend that respect to all First Nations watching and sharing with us today. Hi, I'm Sam.
Hello, I'm Ashton.
What is MOD, you might be asking? MOD stands for Museum of Discovery. We are a future-focused museum that explores art, science and innovation.
And right now you are watching Mod TV. So Mod TV is the latest venture for Mod, with live content streaming directly to your screens 4 days a week. Here at Mod TV, we'll be engaging with themes of connection, well-being and disruption. We'll be looking deeper into our exhibits and we'll be hosting games and much more.
And this afternoon, we're also hosting a special event, Dear 2020 from 2050. So please stick around after that. That's starting at 5 p.m. Our current online exhibition at MOD is Life Interrupted, where we're exploring well-being and connection in a disrupted world.
Today on Mod TV, we want to focus on connection. To help us do that, we're very pleased to welcome Dearna Newchurch, the project coordinator for MOD and the person responsible for our youth engagement programs.
Hi, Dearna. Welcome.
Hello.
For anyone watching, don't forget that if you would like to add a comment or a question that could make it to our conversation, then just put it in the Twitch stream chat. We'll try and get it into the conversation.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming on Mod TV.
Oh, no worries for having me.
It's so nice to have you. So for people just tuning in, this is our Friday show where we talk about connection. And the reason we've asked Dearna to join us today is because she leads a range of youth engagement programs. And Dearna, we wanted to ask you more about how young people can get engaged with MOD behind the scenes. But to start with, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself. Firstly, what your background is and how you started in this role at MOD.
Sure. So, well, I studied at UniSA, so I completed a Bachelor in Tourism Event Management. So looking at event management, while I was doing that degree, I actually started working within some festivals in Adelaide and started a long affair with the Adelaide Fringe, which was it was a great time at the start of my career, actually, because it was a very supportive family. So it was alongside my degree. And so, yeah, my main background is obviously in arts and festivals. And so I think it was when I was working at the Adelaide Guitar Festival, I think it was nearing the end of my contract as well. But before that, I noticed that MOD was opening and I was very intrigued by the space. And before this actual role, I was actually started as a moderator at MOD, just as a casual position, and it was on the weekends because I was obviously working full time. And so while I was doing that, I was enjoying my time doing that. And then a full-time position opportunity came up at MOD. So I obviously went for that as well. And was fortunate enough to get it. So then since then, it's nearly a year and a bit now, a bit more. Terrible with timelines sometimes. Yeah, that's how I ended up in this role, which has been very exciting and definitely stepping a bit out of my comfort zone, I think, but I've been able to bring a lot of my skills from my arts and events background with the networks in Adelaide as well, but also, coming into a space with a great team and learning a lot in terms of the industry around research and obviously STEM, but also being able to be within the team and sort of melding those worlds together as well, which has been great.
And what's been the most interesting part of your role so far?
Well, I think it's definitely opened my eyes a lot to other industries, which has been really helpful. And also, I think a lot working within this industry or within, especially around the STEM area as well. I've been able to see the interconnectedness, I think, with a lot of things, especially in my previous roles, which has been nice. I've been able to sort of articulate those things, which has been good. But also, I think with the youth engagement, it's been really great to sort of work on ways to engage with young people in the landscape of MOD and what our mission is and what we're trying to achieve. And it's I think, when I was at school as well, things are really rigid, I think, especially around the curriculum. And when I first started at Mod, like I said, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I think being able to bring in young people to the mod space now, especially when they're starting to navigate their career and, look for questions and trying to answer things, I think it's a great space to try and learn and actually challenge your thinking, because I think that'll help them navigate better.
And one of the things that you're doing at the moment is adapting the school's work experience program at Mod to work online under the current COVID-19 restrictions. So can you tell us a bit more about that program or what it might look like for online?
Yeah, so last year was the first time that I was able to roll it out at Mod. So obviously a different time, and we were able to have 2 students come in. I think it was from Wilderness School and Morialta. So that was really great having them on site. But obviously this year, with everything that's happened, we're coming up to the time that the work experience is being offered at schools. So we're like, well, why can't we still offer something, especially within, everyone's working online, including students. So we've adapted to obviously welcome or open the opportunity for students to join our online work office space. And because we're simply, even though we've got our galleries closed, we're obviously really busy, as you both know, still working on all these behind the scenes projects. And so the students will have the opportunity to still sit in on meetings, which is something that was a part of last year's program as well. But obviously it's facilitated via Zoom and still working on our online platforms as well. So they'll be able to sit in on those meetings, and then as well look into the production of how we actually run these segments like Mod TV, which I think will give them a great insight into, how we can adapt to times like these, which is, going to obviously could be reoccurring. We don't know what the future holds, I suppose. And, we don't know where we'd be in a year from now either. So I think us formulating this working experience online, if we need to revisit again for whatever reason, we've done it and we can either grow on it or learn from it this time around as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be very different from last year, but I think it's going to be quite an exciting opportunity for students, I think.
Yeah, there's some exciting ways that can allow further access to people that might not be able to have made it into the physical location of Mod to be part of work experience through the online model. Has there anything been a little bit challenging while kind of making this switch to the online model that you found?
I think it'll be more so once we're rolling it out. I think we just want to put in place, obviously, just students online and like the online safety, I think. And I think I know from last year, the students loved being in the office space, and obviously we work in an open plan, and then they had the opportunity to work with moderators on the floor as well and engage with visitors. So that will obviously not be there, the face-to-face interaction. So it's trying to still maintain that level of connection, I think, with the students. But I think getting them into, they'll only be with us for a week or maybe a few days less. But getting into that flow of how we join each other on Zoom every day and trying to maintain that, even though it's virtual. But yeah, hopefully it will work.
Cool. So for students who are watching and are excited about this opportunity, what do you think some of the main benefits are?
I think it'll definitely be, like I said, adapting to these online spaces, which I think is going to have to be a skill that we're going to need to have to revisit a lot as we move forward, because the uncertain times. And obviously they're working, some of them online as well. So I think, and coming into these new, how we're using things like Zoom, and as you know, we use them as green rooms now as well. And I love that idea of how they facilitate all these things online for us. So I think they'll have that opportunity as well. And then just even, they'll still be able to get all, like from last year as well, as being able to get behind the scenes as well of Mod. And I think that will still be able to facilitate even more so while we're online, I think.
Brilliant. And you're so right in that students, like everyone right now, are getting used to doing lots of different things online. So it doesn't feel that unusual in the current world that we're in.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how quickly it's changed. I didn't even know what Zoom was a couple months ago, and now it's my everyday. So I'm sure they've adapted really well. So what would you say to young people in years 10 or 11 who might be thinking about getting involved after watching this?
I would say definitely hop online now and have a look, if you haven't already, at the Life Interrupted exhibition. Because if you haven't, it's hard, because if people are thinking about coming to the work experience like last year, I know the students definitely visited before starting, which was, we don't have the physical galleries now, but we do have the online exhibition. So I definitely direct everyone there, just even for your own something to do this weekend as well, because we've got some great online exhibitions. And just, we've got a link. The application are open live now on the website. So definitely look at that and send us info, because we'd love to hear from you. Let us know why you'd want to do it at Mod. And even if you think, if this is the first time you've even heard of Mod, or someone has sent you the info, I don't think you need to have a massive background on what we do. I think coming in with that eagerness to learn as well, I think it'll be a great opportunity for you to join our team for the week.
Awesome. That sounds great. Now, so what's next for you? You're working on this work experience program, but what else are you working on next?
So we're already we're engaged with some university students at the moment, producing our next modcast series, which is a podcast series. And this one, we did one previously for 7 siblings. And this one is obviously focused on Life Interrupted. But I'm also in the process of engaging our next cohort for upcoming exhibitions as well, because we're working alongside university timelines as well. So we're working a bit in front. And also we're always engaging young people as well within our user testing, which is an integral part of the exhibition design cycle. So through the different iterations, we like to get feedback, and especially from our target group, which is a 15 to 25-year-olds. And so being with an online space as well, we're looking at how to adapt that and still, include them in that, because it's really important. And as well, I have ongoing relationships. There's a great team within the Department of Education that run the Aboriginal STEM Congress. And I know that they've been a bit disrupted by this as well. But they're a great team, and they have some great minds working with them, which is all the young First Nations as well on that Congress. So just looking ahead with them as well, and wanting to still build on that relationship and see how we can participate in each other's activities moving forward.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we're just getting a few questions through from some people watching. They're wondering, were there any particular skills the students picked up last year? Any particular reflections on the students that participated in the program last year?
I think that one of our students, she definitely enjoyed her time on the floor with the moderators and engaging with visitors. I think she really loved having those really diverse conversations. And it's really great, because if you want to learn more about their experience, we actually, as part of their placement, they wrote a blog and reflected on their week, which are housed on our mod website as well, which you can read. And they'll give you a nice insight into their week. But I think it was definitely getting used to the pace of the office, which was nice, which we can obviously, there'll be a different reflection on that this time around, which will be very interesting to compare those experiences, I think.
And another question coming through, what type of careers or study would work experience at Mod help make a sense of, or help introduce to?
I think it's quite a broad, I think a lot of people will think automatically, your science, technology, engineering. Our students last year, I know one of them was from an arts background, and obviously, we have quite an interdisciplinary team as well. And I think they can all find a way within our workspace. I know that much anyway. And I think, I think sky's the limit, really. I don't really want to pigeonhole them, because I think that's what I found, especially going through school as well. I thought, I could only do this because that's what it says. But I think when you're working within such a good team, you can, a lot of things, opportunities arise, I think.
It's so good to hear you emphasize that, because I know for me, when I was at high school, we had to choose so early on between the arts and the science math streams. And for me, I was always headed down that arts pathway. And it's been really exciting, but also such a good opportunity working at Mod to get to focus on a bit of science again and to re-engage that part of my brain, and also open up maybe how I see myself, that I can be into arts and sciences. So it's nice just to emphasize that for students, that they don't have to feel like they have to know everything or already be experts on anything. This is a chance for them to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've
And
just
it
had
is-
oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. It's nice to point out as well, like in terms of not wanting to pigeonhole what people's experience might be from going through this program or what that might lead to. Also, like within a mod full-time office and within the moderator team, there's a lot of diversity in backgrounds and in skills. Someone's just sent through a question going, "Oh, what are the moderators' backgrounds? What type of study will they be doing to get the job?" As a moderator, yeah. Well, you could talk to that, Dearna or Ashton.
So can you say the question again, Sam? I just like.
Just wondering what the backgrounds of the moderators are in terms of their study or their professional life leading to becoming a moderator.
So my background was obviously like arts producing, mainly, and working within events. And like I don't have a huge background in science or that, not academic knowledge or any uni degrees, but just have a general interest in it and how it all obviously interconnects with that as well. So yeah, it's very diverse. But what about you guys?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like I know, there's performers on the team have like a background in the performing arts. There's visual artists, and then there are scientists as well. There's people with PhDs, and there's people studying in the sciences. There's people kind of in the world of innovation and kind of futurism and future thinking. And within the office, there's a quite high level. People there who have maybe also in the office. What about in the office, Dearna? You're in the office.
There's definitely more arts producers as well, science communicators as well, people in media as well that I know that have done their uni degrees. So and PhDs, like it's very and film production as well. So, and they all. That's what I was saying before, like within the team, it's so great because you can all learn off each other and it's really supportive environment as well. And you're not just, you can learn something new every day, but also help you can bring your skills to the table as well. And it's a really nice exchange to have at work. You're not just going there to either just take or just constantly giving. It's really nice.
That's one of the things I love about moderating, is that we're rostered on with different moderators every time, when we're in the gallery space. But even now doing Mod TV, we get to see each other most days. And there are always interesting conversations because everyone has really different backgrounds, really different interests. And, I've learned about all these things that I wouldn't have heard about if I was just hanging out with my arts friends. So it's nice broadening that network.
Yeah.
Now, we've just had a question come in on the chat. Just wondering about, what the interaction is between Mod and the university, and if there's much of a relationship between Mod and the UniSA researchers or students.
So I know we obviously engage with a lot of the UniSA researchers when we are during the exhibition design cycle as well, because that's what we like to do, is showcase the research within the exhibitions. So we're building up really great relationships with them since I know Mod was there and before I was had started in the role as well. And with the students, we're also, especially within my role, engaging them within placements, or we do within the School of Business, we do internships as well. And obviously with the Modcast program, which is running now, we've got 3 journalism students participating on that. So we constantly, in my role as well, engaging with the different schools at the university as well, trying to identify those opportunities with the different students and their roles and how they can obviously use mod as well. And we also, I know that when we engage students for user testing as well, it can be, if they are UniSA students, it can, those hours can go towards an award as well for when they graduate from UniSA in different pillars as well, the global and social engagement pillar. And I can't.
Ah, a little added bonus there. That's great. We got another question coming through. Someone's wondering, what are the biggest questions that young people have about careers in general, e.g. capability or interests, and does work experience at Mod help answer some of those questions?
I'd have to think, like, I pull on from my own, especially being a student in high school, when I compare my experience at Mod now as well. And I know, like I said as well, being said that, you know, this is getting put into a box as well makes it difficult. And that's one thing where students like, oh, can I fit here if I don't know this much? Or, you know, this isn't my background, so what am I going to bring to the role? And I think, you know, as well as when students are learning within a certain subject as well, they always think that they have to learn from one way. And it's like, I just want to let them know, like, especially with like younger people in my family as well, just to encourage them to bring their own perspective and their own questions, because they're really valuable. And I think that young people, shouldn't doubt that as well. Like, you have so much to bring in your perspectives of what is going to be really beneficial moving forward. And it doesn't mean you don't have to, you do need to learn a lot of things as well. But I think everyone has their own unique perspective on it. And I think that students, you know, if they're ever asking, like, where am I going to fit? I need to be this at the start. It's like, my journey has been very fluid. I haven't been from point A to point B. It's been very, you know, like this. And hasn't when I was younger, that may have really scared me a bit, but it's, when I look back, it's been really beneficial. And I think that the sooner you can embrace it as well and be comfortable with it, it helps navigate further.
That's such a good point. I think you've hit on so many things there about the pressures students maybe feel in high school. I remember that feeling of needing to know exactly what I was going to do, whereas now, looking back, it's so many of the different tracks you take where you pick up skills that will help with something else, and things are changing so quickly now that jobs are happening that we can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So having that headset of being open and curious is such a good place to start.
Yeah.
Now, we've had another question come through asking, how can non-school students get involved with Mod? Are there opportunities to volunteer? If this sounds great but you're not a student, what can you do?
We definitely have volunteer positions, obviously, within the moderating team, obviously when the galleries are open as well. And I think moving forward, looking further to that as well, because we obviously engage not just with traditional schools as well, but look at, you've got Youth Inc. on Harnley Street, and also looking at students that have been learning online even before COVID. And so initially, I think at the moment, you could just send, if you are really keen, it'd be great just to send an email to the Mod email, which I believe is mod@mod.org.au, I believe.
That sounds about right.
Sounds about right, yeah. But also, I think just send an email first and foremost. And then as we move forward as well, because obviously this is structured to non-school students, to school students, sorry. But moving forward, it's looking at engaging them as well into other aspects that we're running.
Cool. And I know from our experience moderating that some of our volunteers have ended up becoming moderators as well.
Yeah, it's a great community.
And you being a moderator and now working in the office, there's lots of room to grow and pick up new skills, and opportunities are coming up all the time.
Yeah.
So for people who might have just tuned in and they've just caught the tail end of how great work experience at Mod sounds, do you mind just running us through again where people can go for more information and how to apply?
Sure. So if you're interested in participating in the work experience program, you can head to the Mod website. I think we'll share the link, and it's via our About tab. And so if you head there to the work experience page, you can read a bit about what the program will be. And then there's also a form which you can fill out. And so you can send that through, and then we can review that as well, and we can let people know as well. So there are a few dates. We're running it over 3 weeks towards the end of June and then July. So yeah, just send all your information through there, because we'd love to hear from you.
Brilliant. And like Sam mentioned before, because it's all online this time, that might actually open up some access to people who couldn't physically get here before. So if you're even vaguely curious, I would say go for it.
Yeah, and hopefully it will definitely open up some pathways for regional students as well, which is, I know they find it hard even just to get into mod when we're open as well due to travel. So it'd be great to engage some students as well from out that way.
And one of the programs that perhaps a work experience student could take part in is our games, exhibit games in a time of Corona. Have you been having a look at any of those games, Dearna?
I haven't had a chance to look at them just yet. No.
Oh, yeah, no, they're great. But I know you have a good. I know we've spoken about gaming, and I reckon you will when you do have time. I wish you time this weekend to do that. But for now, thank you so much, Dearna. We've really appreciated you coming in to the program this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See ya.